Jessica Page Kemp disappeared from Greene County on May 5th, 2025. And the Greene County Sheriff's Office has posted an update to their Book of Faces page regarding the search for Jessica Page Kemp. So that post says, Jessica Page Kemp was contacted by a Greene County Sheriff's deputy on 5/5/25 at a primitive camping site at the wildlife management area adjacent to Lake Ashbaugh, located in extreme northwest Greene County. Kemp had placed a 911 call to dispatch to report something or someone under her car. Upon the deputy's arrival, it was determined that nothing was under or in Kemp's vehicle. During the crisis intervention trained deputies' conversation with Kemp, it was learned, confirmed by radio traffic, that Kemp had recently stopped taking prescription medications to treat mental health. At the time of the deputy's interview of Kemp, she did not meet the criteria for being taken into custody under the provisions afforded to Crisis Intervention Trained Officers Act 423 of 2017. Kemp advised the deputy that she would follow up with her physician regarding her mental health medications. Kemp was not reported missing by family members until 5/14/25, which is 9 days after she was contacted by the deputy. When she was reported missing, she was reported missing to the Jonesboro Police Department. When the Greene County Police Department learned that there was a missing persons report in Jonesboro, they responded to the campsite to begin investigating. A timeline of actions from May 14th, 2025 until today is listed below. Please be advised that this timeline is not all inclusive, as it does not include every single action or the number of hours dedicated to these tasks. Specifically, the review of data dumps from devices and cell towers. Between my patrol deputies and criminal investigators, my department has well over 200 man hours invested in attempting to locate Miss Kemp. Details that were discerned early on in the investigation include Kemp has a known drug addiction. Kemp commonly does not have contact with family for weeks and months at a time. It is normal for Kemp to camp in remote locations, just as she was at Lake Ashbaugh. There were no sounds of foul play at the campsite or immediate area. So then they shared the investigation timeline. According to the Greene County Sheriff's Office, on May 14th, they responded to Ashbaugh. There they photographed the campsite. The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission and Greene County Sheriff's Office conducted a grid search, 39 acres approximately, that single day. Greene County Sheriff's Office flew a drone, and Captain Thomas contacted the Morgan Dink Foundation via email requesting assistance with a flyer. The following day, on May 15th, the Greene County Sheriff's Office says that they, along with the Arkansas Game and Fish, conducted water searches with 2 boats for the entire day. They also say that they took down the campsite and towed her car to the sheriff's office. They say that Lieutenant Ashley Colon called every hospital and jail within 100 miles checking for Jessica Kemp. And the police chief, Kelly Baker from the Rector Police Department, did a search of the area with his dog. On May 16th, it looks like they talked to AT&T about exigent circumstances to have the phone numbers tracked. They had a possible sighting in Marmaduke, which didn't pan out, they say. They sent an emergency disclosure order to Text Now. Facebook exigent circumstances was sent out, and Facebook, it says, would only provide subscriber name. Verizon ping started at 2:32. They called Google emergency disclosure line. They contacted Texar, TEXSAR, the K9 team. They had a possible sighting in Strawberry, Arkansas. Traveled to Strawberry to look for a video. They spoke with Peyton Rayburn regarding her social media. Spoke with Peyton Rayburn a second time. They did, it looks like, possibly 3 different interviews, and a thermal drone grid search occurred between 3 a.m. and 11 a.m. that day. On May 17th, Sergeant Crittenden spoke with Morgan Foundation, again requesting a flyer. They also spoke with Texar K9 team. They couldn't come, Texar couldn't come until after Memorial Day due to prior engagements. On May 18th, Captain Thomas made contact with the Morgan Nick Foundation requesting a flyer. Taryn stated she printed a flyer on 5/17 and shared it on their page, but forgot to forward it. Captain Thomas also made contact with Sandra Kemp and advised her that they had requested a Morgan Nick flyer again and it would be posted. On May 19th, there was a phone interview done. Deputy Brian Killiman, a 3-hour meeting with mom and brother of Jessica Kemp. That meeting occurred between CID, the sheriff, and the police chief. They traveled to Dollar General at Laredo to requested a video from Laredo Grill. They called another individual about cameras on his hunting cabin land at Ashball. They collected clothing in the woods found by family. They went to another place and requested video. Captain Thomas and Sergeant Crittenden interviewed Peyton Rayburn after hours, collected and dumped his phone while he waited. They also canvassed an area for cameras and spoke to neighbors. Captain Thomas made contact with emergency management and requested cadaver dogs contacts. Captain Thomas also made contact with 3RK9 Search Foundation and requested dogs. Captain Thomas was told the soonest dogs could be here would be Wednesday, May 28th. On May 20th, they received multiple messages from Sandra Kemp asking questions. They spoke to her via phone, checked back in with the Dollar General, processed Rayburn's phone. They looked for body cam footage and prior reports. They submitted requests to Facebook for data on Kemp's account. Sergeant Crittenden and Sergeant Jackson spoke with Cody Turner, who brought in alleged evidence. They spoke with, it looks like, a couple of individuals requesting that individual come back in for maybe an interview. They contacted the Dollar General supervisor, submitted a letter requesting the video. They went back to Dollar General to get the interview and get the video, and they interviewed 2 more people. Then on May 21st, they had a search warrant for cell records from AT&T, and they sent the search warrant to the judge to be signed. They also sent the search warrant to AT&T on May 23rd. They conducted multiple interviews. On the 27th, they got a search warrant for a tower dump. They spoke with another individual about a temp. They spoke with a lieutenant from Munford, Tennessee. They went to Ashbaugh and looked at another campsite on a lead. The Detective Crittenden got an urgent call from family, contacted them back to find out the private investigator found one of the witnesses and interviewed him. On May 28th, they all day long did water and land searches with cadaver dogs. Also, the Game and Fish was out there, Greene County Sheriff's Office. There were 2 boats, 5 dogs, 3. And LLE, they also did a search warrant for Jessica Page Kemp's Facebook profile on May 29th. They spent half the day doing a water and land search with cadaver dogs. And then they followed up on possible sightings in Paragould, which turned out to be unfounded. On May 30th, they had follow-up on an anonymous tip in another county. They interviewed another individual. They received an anonymous tip that they are in the process of following up on. So then it goes on to say the Greene County Sheriff's Department has worked diligently on this case, and I'm very thankful for my dedicated investigators and deputies that have put in numerous hours of work to locate Ms. Kemp. To reiterate, there were no signs of foul play at the scene. Ms. Kemp is 32 years of age. She is free to live her life as she sees fit, including not having contact with family or friends. However, until we locate her or receive word from her that she is fine and does not want to be found by anyone, we will continue to pursue leads that we become aware of. I have attached the missing persons flyer for Ms. Kemp once again for reference. So what I have to say is that I think that this is possibly the crappiest post that Sheriff Brad Snyder could have shared. This is an individual that you know is struggling with mental health, that you know is struggling or has struggled in the past with addiction. And you're sitting here saying, oh, they're free to live their life. They could, do all the drugs they want. She could be as mentally ill as she wants. We're here doing our job, but, she doesn't have to contact anybody. People are concerned. Obviously, if you've done all the things that you say that you've done, there is reason to be concerned because you haven't been able to locate her. And making this post to say, well, we've done all this work is just crappy, in my opinion. I hope that Jessica Kemp is found.